Eleanor Thompson had always believed that love was measured in sacrifices. At 68, she had spent the last 4 years pouring her heart and her savings into her son, David, and his wife, Sophia. It started small, a loan here for rent, a gift there for groceries. But it snowballed. David's job as a graphic designer was sporadic, and Sophia, with her dreams of starting a boutique, always seemed one expense away from success. Eleanor, widowed young and retired from her nursing career, dipped into her late husband's life insurance and her modest pension. Over $28,000 in total, she calculated one sleepless night. Furniture for their apartment, bills paid on time, even a down payment on Sophia's dream car. In return, she got occasional thank yous, holiday visits, and the warm illusion of family closeness. But illusions shatter. It happened on a crisp autumn afternoon in October 2025. Eleanor had driven over to their cozy suburban home in Seattle, armed with a bottle of champagne and excitement bubbling in her chest. David had hinted at a wedding soon. After all, they'd been engaged for 2 years. "Mom, we're thinking small," he'd said vaguely. But Eleanor had planned a pale blue dress she'd splurged $150 on, dreams of walking her only child down the aisle, or at least posing for photos that would fill the empty frames in her quiet house. She knocked, and Sophia answered, her face lighting up in that practiced way. David hovered behind, avoiding eye contact. "Eleanor, what a surprise. Come in." They sat in the living room, on the sectional sofa Eleanor had bought last Christmas. She pulled out her phone. "I was calling to ask about the wedding date. I want to clear my calendar." Sophia exchanged a glance with David, then smiled. A smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, we already tied the knot last weekend. It was just us and a few special people." The words landed like ice shards. Special people. Eleanor felt her world tilt. She, who had wired $400 just last month for Sophie. The slap echoed through the grand ballroom like a thunderclap, cutting through the murmurs of 130 elegantly dressed guests. My glasses flew off my face, shattering on the polished marble floor with a sharp, final crack. The sting on my cheek was nothing compared to the searing pain in my heart. Juliet, my daughter-in-law, stood there in her pristine white gown, her face twisted in rage. "That's what you get for being so selfish," she screamed, her voice piercing the stunned silence. "A woman your age doesn't need so much space." I, Aurora Hughes, 68 years old, crouched down trembling, my hands fumbling for the broken frames. No one moved to help. Whispers rippled through the crowd, pitying glances, awkward averts of eyes. My son, Ethan, stood frozen, his gaze locked on the floor as if I were a ghost. "You're not welcome here anymore," Juliet continued, smoothing her dress with feigned composure. "Ethan and I need our privacy to start our new life. Your apartment would be perfect for us while we shop for something better." Her words were venom, laced with months of built-up disdain. For 2 years, I'd endured her subtle jabs about my worn clothes, my old car, my modest job at the flower shop. But this? Public humiliation on her wedding day? It was the breaking point. As I rose, tears streaming down my face, something inside me shifted. The mask I'd worn for decades cracked. I had secrets, deep, life-altering ones, that no one, not even Ethan, knew. I walked toward the exit, the weight of judgmental eyes like daggers. Memories flooded me. Juliet's first visit to my apartment, her nose wrinkling at my cozy home. "Seriously, this is where Ethan's mom lives?" She'd whispered, loud enough for me to hear. Ethan's blind adoration, turning him into her puppet. The escalating pressures. "Aurora, you should move to a smaller place. At your age, you can't maintain such a big apartment." Each comment a calculated erosion of my dignity. Outside, in the cool night air, I dialed Carlos, my trusted advisor. "It's time," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. "Bring the documents. The ones about everything." He hesitated, but I was resolute. 30 minutes, Carlos. No more." Sitting in my old sedan in the parking lot, I waited. The ballroom's lights glowed warmly, music faintly audible, a stark contrast to the storm brewing. 25 minutes left until their world shattered. It all began 2.5 years ago when Ethan brought Juliet home. His nervous smile reminded me of his boyhood days. Mom, meet someone special. She was beautiful, poised, but her eyes scanned my apartment like a predator assessing prey. How cozy, she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. That first dinner was tense. She picked at my homemade meal, evading questions about her family while probing mine. How do you manage on a widow's pension? It must be hard. I observed her closely. Over months, patterns emerged. Her eyes lingered on the apartment's prime location, the spacious rooms. One day, I overheard her on the phone. Yes, Mom. His mom's place is in a super expensive area. If I can get her to move, we could stay here. Her words confirmed my suspicions. She saw me as a means to an end. The manipulations intensified after their engagement. Brochures for senior homes appeared on my table. I'm just exploring options for you, Aurora. Ethan echoed her. Mom, Juliet's right. Maybe a more manageable place. It hurt seeing my son, raised with love and values, become her echo. 2 weeks before the wedding, the ambush came. Juliet arrived with her parents, an important family meeting. Her mother, a haughty woman, eyed me disdainfully. It's time for responsible decisions about your life. Her father appraised my home like real estate. Living alone is dangerous at your age. Ethan sat silent, nodding. They presented a folder. Costs for a residence, how selling my apartment would fund it, and leave some for the newlyweds. If I refuse? I asked. Ethan's response chilled me. We hope it won't come to drastic measures. The threat of declaring me incompetent hung in the air. That night, I cried, not from sadness, but from the death of illusions. I called Carlos. Investigate their finances. Everything. The report was damning. Ethan earned $45,000 yearly, but drowned in $80,000 credit card debt. Juliet's part-time job barely covered her lavish spending. Together, $120,000 in debts, eviction looming, cars financed beyond means. Worse, Ethan had inquired about loans against my property, power of attorney procedures. And Juliet? She bragged to friends about sacrificing for a man whose mother had valuable properties and no heirs. But the deepest secret? One I'd buried for Ethan's sake. My husband, Robert, wasn't the office worker everyone believed. He was a savvy investor, amassing a fortune in real estate and stocks, over $50 million hidden behind modest living to protect us. We decided early. Live simply, shield our wealth from greed. Robert's death 10 years ago revealed another layer. In his final confession, he admitted Ethan wasn't mine biologically. An affair during a rough patch in our marriage produced a son. Robert begged me to raise him as my own. I did, out of love for Robert and the innocent child. Ethan never knew. I couldn't bear to shatter him, but there was more. Robert had a daughter from before our marriage, a secret child he'd supported anonymously. Elena, now 35, living modestly in another city. I'd continued the support, grooming her as the true heir to our empire. She knew nothing of us until recently, when I began preparing her. As Carlos's car pulled up, my resolve hardened. Are you sure, Mrs. Hughes? He asked, handing me a thick envelope. Once revealed, no turning back. I'm sure, I replied. We walked back to the ballroom. The reception was in full swing. Laughter, toasts dancing. Juliet and Ethan cut the cake, oblivious. I signaled the band to stop. The room fell silent as I stepped onto the stage. Carlos beside me. All eyes turned, pity from before, now curiosity. Dear guests, I began, my voice amplified and steady. Today was meant to celebrate love. Instead, it became a stage for humiliation. Murmurs rippled. Juliet's smile faltered. Ethan's face paled. I was slapped, disrespected, and cast aside like trash. By my daughter-in-law, with my son's silent approval. I paused, letting it sink in. But you all saw only a frail old woman. You don't know the real Aurora Hughes. I opened the envelope. First, my modest life is a choice. My late husband, Robert, built a fortune, over $50 million in assets. This apartment you covet, Juliet? It's one of many properties. I own buildings, stocks, a portfolio that could buy this ballroom 10 times over. Gasps echoed. Juliet's eyes widened in greed, then confusion. Ethan stepped forward, stammering, "Mom, what?" But that's not all. I continued. Ethan, my dear son, you aren't my biological child. The room froze. His face drained of color. Your father had an affair. I raised you as my own, out of love. But the inheritance? It belongs to Robert's true heir, his daughter, Elena, whom I've supported secretly. I gestured to the doors. In walked Elena, poised and elegant, a stranger to all but me. Meet your half-sister, Ethan. She's the one who inherits everything, not you. Juliet's composure shattered. This is ridiculous. You're lying. She lunged toward me, but guests held her back. Carlos presented documents, birth records, DNA tests I'd commissioned years ago, wills, financial statements. It's all here, he said. Irrefutable. Ethan collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Mom, why didn't you tell me? Because I loved you, I said softly. But love has limits. You let greed poison you. You plan to declare me incompetent, steal my home. For what? To fund your debts. The guests whispered furiously. Juliet's parents looked horrified. I didn't know, he wailed. Juliet ripped off her veil. This marriage is a joke. Without the inheritance, you're nothing. She stormed out, her gown trailing, leaving Ethan alone amidst the ruins. I addressed the crowd. To those who pitied me, who whispered I belonged in a home, come see the truth. Tomorrow at my mansion, yes, I have won a real celebration. For Elena, for family done right. As security escorted Ethan out, he begged, Mom, please. It's Aurora now, I said. And you're on your own. The next day dawned bright. My mansion, overlooking the city, hidden in hills, bustled with preparations. Elena arrived early, wide-eyed. Aurora, I don't know what to say. Dad never told me about you. We hugged. He wanted to protect you, as did I. Over coffee, I shared stories of Robert, the good, the flawed. Elena, a teacher, had lived simply, unaware of her lineage. This changes everything, she said. Guests trickled in, curious, apologetic. We had no idea, one said. I smiled. That's the point. Appearances deceive. Ethan called repeatedly. I ignored. Reports came. Their rented apartment evicted them that morning. Debts caught up. Juliet filed for annulment within hours. By evening, the party was alive. Catered feasts, live music, no pretense. Elena mingled, blossoming. I watched, a weight lifted. For years, secrecy protected me. Now, truth freed me. Months later, life transformed. Elena managed the portfolio with me, her fresh ideas invigorating. We traveled bonded as family should. Ethan? He hit rock bottom, lost his job, crashed with friends. One day a letter. I'm sorry. I was blind. I sent a check, not inheritance but enough for therapy, a fresh start. Forgiveness? Perhaps. But trust? Shattered. Juliet faded into obscurity, her image consulting exposed as a facade. Whispers followed her. The bride who slapped her way to ruin. As for me, Aurora Hughes, I bloomed anew. No more masks. In my flower shop, I arranged bouquets with purpose. Life's thorns,